There's a reason your body stores fat more easily now, even if your habits haven't changed much. You might be eating the same foods, following the same routines, trying to be more disciplined, and yet something feels different. Weight comes on faster, energy feels less stable, results don't match your effort, and the confusing part is this. Most people assume it's just about calories, but it's not. There's another factor quietly shaping how your body responds every single day, and that factor is insulin. Insulin is not something most people think about regularly. It doesn't create obvious symptoms, it doesn't demand attention. But behind the scenes, it plays a powerful role in how your body stores and uses energy. When insulin is working in balance, your body stays flexible. It can use energy when needed, store it when appropriate, and maintain a steady rhythm. But when that balance begins to shift, the rules change, and that's where insulin resistance comes in. What is insulin resistance? Simple explanation. Insulin resistance doesn't happen overnight. It develops slowly, often without you noticing. At first, everything seems normal. Your body responds the way it always has. Energy feels stable. Weight feels manageable. But over time, something begins to shift. Your body starts becoming less responsive to the signals insulin is trying to send. Insulin's job is simple. It helps move energy from your bloodstream into your cells where it can be used. But when your cells stop responding efficiently, your body has to adapt, so it compensates. It produces more insulin just to achieve the same effect. And this is where the pattern begins. Because when insulin stays elevated for longer periods of time, your body gradually shifts into storage mode, not just occasionally, but more consistently. And that change is subtle at first. You don't feel it immediately, there's no clear signal, no obvious warning, but over time, the effects become noticeable. Relatable moment. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. There was a time when small adjustments made a real difference. Skipping a few snacks, being a bit more active, making simple changes to your meals, and the results would follow. You felt lighter, more in control, more responsive. But now, things feel different. Those same efforts don't seem to create the same results. You try to be consistent, you try to stay disciplined, but progress feels slower or sometimes completely stuck. And that can be frustrating. It can feel like you're doing everything right, but nothing is working the way it used to. Transition. But here's the important part. This doesn't mean you're failing, and it doesn't mean your body is broken. It simply means your body is responding differently now. The good news is this. You don't need extreme routines. You don't need perfect discipline. You just need to understand the new rules your body is operating under, because once you understand those rules, you can stop fighting against your body and start working with it. Rule 1, focus on insulin, not just calories. Most people are taught to focus only on calories, eat less, move more. And while that can play a role in weight management, it doesn't explain everything that happens inside the body. Because your body does not respond to food based only on calories. It responds to biological signals. And one of the most important signals is insulin. Simple breakdown. Different types of food create different hormonal responses inside your body. Carbohydrates generally lead to a higher insulin response. Protein leads to a moderate response. Fat leads to a lower response. This does not mean one is good and another is bad. It simply explains how your body prioritizes and processes energy. For example, 2 meals can have the same number of calories, but create completely different internal effects. A refined carbohydrate-heavy meal may raise insulin quickly and lead to faster energy storage. A balanced meal with protein, fiber, and healthy fats may create a slower, more stable response. From a calorie-only perspective, they look similar. From a hormonal perspective, they are not. Key insight. When insulin rises significantly, your body is more likely to shift towards storing energy. This is a normal and necessary process. Insulin is not the enemy. It is a storage and regulatory hormone. However, when insulin is elevated frequently or for long periods, the body spends more time in storage mode and less time using stored energy. When insulin stays lower between meals, your body has more flexibility to access stored energy when needed. This is not about eliminating carbohydrates or removing entire food groups. It is about understanding patterns and responses. Real-life application. Instead of only asking, how many calories am I eating? A more useful question becomes, how is my body responding to what I eat? This shift changes your focus from strict restriction to awareness. Over time, you may notice patterns such as certain meals leave you feeling full longer, some foods lead to energy crashes, others keep you more stable throughout the day. This is not instant knowledge. It builds gradually through experience. The goal is not perfection. The goal is better understanding of your own system. Rule 2, timing matters. Now let's look at something often overlooked in nutrition discussions. Timing, not just what you eat, but when you eat. Body rhythm. Explanation. Your body operates on a natural internal rhythm known as a circadian cycle. Throughout the day, hormone levels shift. Energy demands change. Digestion efficiency varies. In general, during daylight hours, your body is more active and more prepared to process and utilize energy. Insulin sensitivity is often higher earlier in the day, meaning your body may handle food more efficiently in the morning and afternoon. As the day progresses, your body begins transitioning toward rest. Hormones related to relaxation and recovery become more dominant, while energy expenditure tends to decrease. Late night effect. Eating late at night does not automatically cause harm in a single instance. The issue is pattern and consistency. Over time, regularly eating late may interfere with the body's natural wind-down process. At night, digestion tends to be slower compared to earlier in the day. This means food may not be processed with the same efficiency, and energy handling can differ from daytime responses. It is also more common for late-night eating to involve highly processed or calorie-dense foods, which can further influence metabolic patterns. Practical adjustments. Instead of extreme rules or strict schedules, small adjustments are more sustainable. Eating your larger meals earlier in the day when possible, avoiding heavy meals right before sleep, creating a consistent gap between your last meal and bedtime, allowing your digestive system time to settle before rest. These changes are not about restriction. They are about alignment. When eating patterns match your natural biological rhythm more closely, your system often functions with less internal stress and more consistency. The key idea is not control. It is coordination with your body's timing. Rule 3, measure what matters. If you want to improve anything in health, you first need awareness, and awareness comes from measurement. But not all measurement needs to be complex or perfect. Understanding internal markers. Insulin itself is difficult to measure in everyday life without medical testing. Because of that, people often rely on related indicators that give indirect insight into how the body is managing energy. Two commonly used markers are blood glucose, ketone levels. Blood glucose shows how much circulating sugar is available in the bloodstream at a given moment. Ketones indicate how much the body is using fat-derived fuel for energy. These markers are not perfect representations of everything happening in metabolism, but they provide useful direction. Why patterns matter more than single readings. A single reading does not tell the full story. What matters more is pattern over time. For example, how your glucose responds after certain meals, how quickly it returns to baseline, how stable your readings are throughout the day, how your energy levels correlate with these changes. Over time, these patterns reveal how your body tends to respond. This is where real learning happens, not in isolated numbers, but in trends. Practical approach to tracking. You do not need to track everything continuously. In fact, over-tracking can become overwhelming and unnecessary. A simpler approach is often more effective. Occasionally observe your response to different types of meals. Notice how timing affects your energy. Pay attention to how consistent habits influence stability. Even informal awareness can be powerful. The goal is not to become dependent on data. The goal is to use data as feedback. How it all connects when you step back. These 3 rules are not separate ideas. They are connected parts of the same system. Nutrition influences internal hormone responses. Timing influences how efficiently your body processes energy. Measurement helps you understand patterns over time. Your body is not reacting to one isolated decision. It is responding to repeated signals. Every meal sends a message. Every habit reinforces a pattern. Every repeated behavior becomes part of your baseline. Small actions, when repeated consistently, shape long-term outcomes more than occasional extreme efforts. This is why short-term fixes often fail to create lasting change. They do not align with the system they are trying to influence. Instead of focusing on quick results, the more stable approach is to focus on consistency. Instead of reacting to daily fluctuations, it is more useful to observe long-term direction. Over time, this creates a more predictable and stable internal environment. Not through perfection, but through repetition and awareness. This is not about extreme diets. It's not about cutting everything out. It's about understanding how your body works now. Because when you understand the system, you stop guessing. You stop fighting your body. And you start making decisions that actually support it. And when that shift happens, progress stops feeling like a struggle and starts becoming something you can sustain.